What's up, guys? Thank you guys again for tuning in to Palmer Power Motorsports. This trick is sick this week. I've got a little special that I'm going to be running here for several weeks now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take you along on a ride with building an engine. So I'm getting a lot of requests. A lot of guys keep saying, hey, why don't you give us some more info? I'd like to see some more stuff on your engine building stuff and whatnot. So what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to turn this into a 5 to 10 part series. I'm going to show you guys the steps that I take for building kind of like a budget LS engine build. So if you've never built an LS, or you're scared of it, or you just have never built one, please stay tuned in, watch every episode, and I'll take you step by step on what I'm doing to build our engine and to show you everything to save money and every little trick that I've found to make it cost effective. So, and you're more than welcome to comment on anything that we're doing on this stuff. But please keep in mind, this is a budget build, and this is going to be for, we're actually building my wife's 66 Volkswagen VW Beetle, and it's a full chassis front motor conversion is what is going on here. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to piece the motor together. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to build one of those little 5.3 327. I think it's LQ4 or LQ. I don't remember the specific numbers, but it's a LS based engine. I think it's a Gen 3 LS, and it's just a little one. It'll carry that little 1,800 pound car. It should scream. So we may wind up putting some nitrous on it, things like that. We'll keep you posted on probably stuff, you know, when concerning that part of it. But this little part series is pretty much, I'll take you step by step, and it's not going to be the most expensive stuff, but I'll give you some little tips and tricks along the way to try to save you some money. Like I said, this is more of a budget build. This is actually my wife's first race car. So, and you guys will get to see, you know, most of the process of us putting it together, because next year she's going to be testing and tuning this thing, and I'll be down there with her there at Tulsa, and we're going to be trying it out. So, but anyway, stay tuned and hit like, share, and please subscribe. And thank you to all the new subscribers. Also, thank you to all the comments, and mainly on Facebook. I wish you guys would. Please try to comment on YouTube. We do appreciate it. And also, I'm going to go over here. I'm going to write all this stuff down, kind of the list of to show you which stage. And you may find that you know, you may skip ahead if you're already in the middle of a build, or you may just watch this thing all the way through. And I know there's a lot of LS videos. I'm just showing you ours because, like I said, this is a budget build, and I want to go every little minute detail and why I saved the money. So anyway, stay tuned. Like I said, subscribe, and thank you guys again. Have a good one. Later. Thank you to my sponsors. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to not leave you out. I'm just busy, and I'm trying to think of every single thing. Thank you to Kevin Blumenthal Transmissions there in Oklahoma City. Thank you, J&H Tire, Brad Johnson. Thank you, David over at Pete's Machine Shop. Thank you, Chris over at Summit Racing. And thank you, Brian Foster over at MMA Max UFC Fighting. Thank all you guys for helping get our name out there, letting us be a part of your events, sponsoring us with things, items, merchandise, and stuff. And we do appreciate you. And please, anybody that wants to get their name out on our channel, please send us stuff. We'll review it. If you're a tool guy, send us tools. We'll check out the tools. We'll do a review on it, an honest review. And anything with these automotive parts, we're definitely going to be getting you guys out there and and getting you some coverage, and that way everybody can get you a little bit of visibility in front of everyone. So, but anyways, let's get on to the engine. Thanks, guys. One of the tip and tricks to the way that I build engines and stuff is cleanliness. You've got to be extremely clean. You got to make sure that your You got to be extremely clean. You got to make sure that you wipe down everything, clean hands, paper towels, alcohol on hand. You need to make sure to be extremely clean. That's one of the secrets to whenever I build an engine. I'm almost like a surgeon, and that's the way that you need to be. Other guys have other ways of doing it. They can comment, they can gripe, they can say, oh, you can just slap it together, whatever. Don't care how they do it. All I know is how I do it and why my cars are always fast and why they last. So anyways, cleanliness, that's a tip and trick. Everything super clean, even where you set stuff and where you lay things, and you keep everything covered. And I've got mine in a climate controlled room. So if you can't do that, build it in your bedroom. I used to build Chevrolet V8s in my bedroom, if your wife will allow that. Anyways, guys, I just a little tip and trick though, and onto the motor. Thanks. Okay, one of the tip and tricks that I like to use, I do have this one covered with plastic, and the main reason why is a lot of people, you can keep them covered with plastic, they'll be fine, but the deal is a lot of times they'll build condensation inside here, and sorry, the air conditioner. The condensation actually will make it rust inside this bag. So what I found is that if you keep it in the bag, you gotta constantly, about weekly, I come in here and I WD for, I use WD on it. So if you want to get away with waiting longer, you can. I've stored motors up to 4 to 5 years. And the way that I got away with it was, instead of using a bag, I'm going to set that over there. You go in your house and you ask your wife permission for no towel. And the deal is when you're done with your engine working on it, you just drape a towel over it. Now I actually have blankets, and I'll wrap mine with blankets whenever it's long term. So if it's a very long time, I'll wrap it with blankets. But like right now, while we're building it, I actually just use a towel that my wife gave me. And what it does is any condensation that comes out of that WD-40, I actually, the blanket itself or the towel here will absorb that moisture. So that's a tip and trick. You need to make sure that I would get me an old towel or something like that instead of wrapping it with that bag. And I would come out here, and if you'll come out once a month and WD the block inside and out, just WD it. You do it once a month. That's 12 times a year. I went 4 or 5 years, and this block's been sitting here for about a year, year and a half, and it looks brand new. So 4 or 5 years later, it could still look brand new, and it won't even have any rust, surface rust or anything. If you go any longer than that, you're risking a chance of having a light surface rust on everything, and I just don't like that. That's just more, it's not cleanliness. I mean, that's part of my deal about being clean and keeping your engines perfect. You know, a lot of guys don't care, but I do. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pull that bag off. Got my towel. That's the first tip and trick. Make sure you got your towel. And what I will do is and I got me a table here, a clean table that I cover with rags and wipe down. What I will do is I will take a little brush and I will wipe every little single thing out. And then I run a chaser down into every nut and bolt, every location. And while I'm doing that, I'm spraying it with WD and I'm wiping it down. So that's going to take some time. It's going to take me about an hour, hour and a half. I mean, you guys aren't going to have to wait through that. But this episode is going to be prepping the block and getting it ready to put your internal stuff in. Now, I've already sent this off to the machine shop. So let me explain what you need to do. When you pull your block out, you take it to a machine shop and you ask him if the block's any good. You have it magnaflux and tested and everything for any kind of cracks or things like that. So once you get the okay that the block is in good shape, then your engine machinist will actually advise you that you know, it needs to be bored or it doesn't need to be bored, or you know, any kind of work that needs to be done in that particular type of situation. So what you'll do is like this one, I had it bored 30 over. So I had it bored 30 over, and I had everything cleaned up, and I had new freeze plugs put in it, any kind of little plug, any kind of plugs. And I also had them go ahead and put the cam bearings in. Cam bearings are kind of a bitch. So I would just have the machine shop throw them in. That's 60, 70 bucks. Don't even mess with it. I mean, I'm just trying to save you some time. I'm trying to save you some money. Let them put the cam bearings in. Also, since this is going to be a high performance engine, which we may be spraying, we're going to try to do between 550 and 750 horse. So that's where we're pushing for on some spray with a little 5.3. So, and we're going to carburet it, and we're going to half electronic it with MSD ignition. So what we're going to do is that's the first things that you got to do. Once you find out your block's good and you get it, they say it's cool, they'll tell you what they think it should be bored. Then you need to make sure that whatever the bore is, if it's 30 over, 40 over, 60 over, whatever, 10 over, you need to order your pistons to that, you know, your pistons to that boring. So, other than that, I highly recommend, while you got it at the machine shop, not only do I have it tested for cracks and things, I always have it line bored too. So just tell them to true up where the crank goes, which is underneath. You know, I'm not going to specifically tell you every single little thing on this thing, because if you're to the point of build, I'm showing you how to build this motor. You should have read a book on how to know what parts are that go in this thing. So I'm not going to explain every single part. You're gonna, if you don't even know that, you're gonna have to go get you a book. But the crank goes here on the bottom, and the line board, they'll run a it looks like a honing stone thing, and they'll run it in here, and they'll slide it in now, and they'll measure it and whatnot, and they'll true it up. And what it does is it just trues everything up, because you'd be surprised it'll be a little bit off. So also, you don't want to get like a brand new block, or I wouldn't. I'd prefer to have one that's seasoned. So your seasoned blocks are going to be a little bit better. So have it trued up if you're going to go high performance. I have it done anyways, no matter what. So it's your call. But during this build, We had it bored 30 over. I had it trued up there, line board, and had the like I said, freeze plugs, the little plugs here, and the cam bearings. So that's all I had done to the block, and everything else, the little any kind of other little plugs and little dowel pins and whatnot. A lot of times your machinist will not give you that stuff back. So another tip and trick is you can buy a little kit from Summit Racing that has like a top-off kit for prepping your block. So it's got the little dowel pins in that hold your heads on and things like that. In the next few episodes, whenever I show you the heads, I'll show you what all that is. But like I said, this is just cleaning and prepping and telling you kind of what you need to do to get kind of ready. Now, the reason why, as I'm rotating this, I don't know, some people may slow the video down. I don't have the side bolts in. I don't have a lot of bolts. The main reason is I'm going to ARP this stock block. So these LS engines are 6-bolt main, which everybody knows. But I'm going to ARP the bottom end, and I'm going to ARP the top end. I think I'm studying the top, and I think I'm studying the bottom. I don't remember, but it's all ARP. And I highly recommend that. And ARP your rod bolts too that go to your pistons. ARP everything. Everything that you can. If you can afford it, ARP even your accessories. I mean, ARP is just phenomenal. So all he did was he stuck the stock bolts on here just to hold the caps on, the main caps, just for right now. And don't get these mixed up. Now, you know, it's just like the old school blocks. Don't mix nothing up. And you can see where, you know, these are numbered. You know, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we've got our stamp. So, but what I'm getting at is we're going to clean the block up during this session. I just told you what you need to be tested, what you need to ask for, and my recommendations on what little bit of machine work that you do need to have done. So, well, let me get on to the cleaning because this is going to take a little bit. All the brushing, all the little holes. I ran the existing bolts down into each holes to clean the threads up, and you've seen I had some issues with a few of them. So if you do feel something in there, just keep running in with WD and pull it out and in and out and in and out, and do every single thread on this block, because that would have been a bad issue right there. You could have twisted a head bolt off. You could have had a false tightening when you tighten the heads, a false reading on your gauges. Because this one, these LSs take a torque angle gauge, but when you go to an ARP bolt, what most people don't realize is when you go to ARP, you do the foot-pounds again. So thank God. I'm not a fan of the angle, the torque angle gauge that you put on your deal. We'll show you that later. Right now I'm fixing to take the main caps off to get it prepped, get them ready. And what you want to do is, if they're not numbered, you make sure that you number them. These here, I don't know if that's a factory stamp or if that was my machinist guy. It almost looks like a factory stamp. So What you want to do is make sure you stamp. The front one will be number 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and pull them out, you know, in order and stack them up, and we're going to do the final cleaning on this thing. So chase the threads, clean all the little orifices out of any kind of dirt and stuff, and I highly recommend just using WD at this moment. Here in a second, we're going to use carburetor cleaner is what I use to do the next clean to get it all cleaned up. And then, believe it or not, there's a little tip and trick here in a second that we do on the cylinder walls that I was taught by like a NASCAR guy. So, sorry, watching a little bit of TV while I'm doing this. So, anyways, let's get to it. Let me get these caps pulled, and you guys just kind of follow along and watch, and any little tips along the way, I'll be giving them to you. So, all right, thanks, guys. Okay, here's a little tip and trick I'm going to give you that I do. Like I said, all of these are not the norm. There's a lot of guys that don't do it the way that I do, you know, my cleaning to put my engine assembly together. And I want to stress that because I get people arguing with me about things. Well, you don't have to do that. Now, I know I don't have to do it. It's my personal preference because I found that it works, and it seems as if, and it appears that my engine produces more power than yours and lasts longer. So I don't know what to say. It's my honest and my opinion only. So here we go. This is the little tip and trick. Something you may not have heard of. Automatic transmission fluid, ATF. I do the final clean of the cylinder walls. Just the cylinders where the pistons go with automatic transmission fluid. And what I was taught was that the additives in automatic transmission fluid actually pulls the impurities out of the cylinder walls and all the little fine scratches. So what is amazing is whenever you do wipe it down, you will see, you can wipe it as much as possible. And then when you do the automatic transmission fluid wipe, it'll be black, not black, but you can see residue again. You're like, where did that come from? So it does pull the impurities out of the cylinder walls. I was taught that by a guy with NASCAR. So that's one of my little secrets there, to pull every single little minute trace of shavings, metal flakes, anything that can mess my bearings up. So now that we have WD'd it 2 or 3 times, we've sprayed it with carb cleaner and pretty much stripped the oil back off, put the oil back on, and lubed everything up and cleaned everything out. I'm feeling pretty good about it now. She's looking pretty good. Everything's pretty much immaculate, except for these cylinder walls. I'm going to go ahead and wipe them down with the automatic transmission fluid, and just use a regular paper towel, and I wipe them out, and And that way we get our final cleaning and prep to get this thing ready to start assembling. So automatic ATF. Anyways, good deal. Thanks, guys. Alright guys, well, that's the end of this first episode of the building the LS budget motor. Got the 6-bolt main caps here all cleaned up. Got the ARP rods. Thank you Kevin Blumenthal out of Oklahoma City. Thank you Pete's Machine Shop. Thank you J&H Tire, MMA Max, and Summit Racing. Also the Ampco boys over there at Ampco Electric there in South Oklahoma. Thank you guys for tuning in, subscribing, hitting like. And please post some info on what you would like for us to make videos on. By posting on this post and the next 6 to 8 part series, you must watch, subscribe, and actually post something. You will automatically be entered into a free giveaway of I am going to give away a LS engine. LS based engine. So something like you see right here right now, it'll be something similar, but you will be getting it for free. We're going to have a giveaway. So you guys stay tuned and make sure you follow those rules. Remember, subscribe, hit like, comment below, and you must watch the next episodes on this engine build to be eligible to win this engine. So, but in any effect, thank you guys all again. We do appreciate you. And like I said, this is only my honest opinion about how to put this engine together. It works for me, and I'm sure each and every one of you have a different way of doing it. And you boys that don't know what you're doing, this is a very good, clean way that we're going to show you how to put this thing together. And we're going to show you our little tips of the, tips and tricks of trade. And also, you have to realize we're trying to shoot for a budget build that will produce minimum of 650 horsepower. So this is, and whenever we're all done with this and our last series of the videos, we will give you the overall cost of what it's going to cost you to build something like this. So stay tuned. Thanks again, and God bless.